Hello, how is it going, everyone? This video, I want to build just very simple projects, and that's just basically this. I'm just basically fetching my balance from that of the Paystack's dashboard. Okay, so and I'm basically using my website to actually do that. If you take a look up here, you're going to see that I'm actually on the local drive. So it's actually possible for you to fetch whatever balance that you have within that of the Paystack. And the reason that I'm actually doing this is because someone actually requested for that. If I go to YouTube and I scroll down this particular video right here, how to verify payment of Paystack, reach Paystack's verify payment endpoint using PHP and CURL before giving value anywhere. So I got this request, I think it's about 9 days ago right here. So if you take a look here, you see where someone says, "Hello boss, please make a video on how to check your Paystack balance from your website." And I thought that it's just a very simple thing to just do this afternoon. And it's really very simple, guys. So I was able to actually build this. So if I refresh, I'm going to see that the balance it kind of still remains okay, even though I'm actually on a test mode. And if the price right here or the balance right here may not look just the same with that which is actually already on that of the what is it called, Paystack. So for instance, if I change this to, let's say, all time, you're going to see that it's actually slightly different. Okay, but if you switch to live, okay, if you switch to live, it's actually going to be accurate. Okay, if you take a look here, see that I'm actually still on a test mode. Okay, so as we build the project, we're going to actually switch to see what is actually going to happen with us. All right, so if we go back to what I want to do right now is I want to create a folder right here for the project, and we're going to just be very quick with this. So there are a couple of codes that I'm just going to basically copy and paste. Okay, let's call this Paystack underscore balance. Let's assume that that's actually the file, the folder that we're going to use. I want to right click on that and open that up with my Visual Studio Code. So let's open that up right now, and we'll have that particular folder opened right here. So we can go ahead and then create our first file. Let's call this index.php. So the first thing I want to do right now, I don't want to waste any time. I want to just let me paste, let me just go ahead and then throw in my PHP tags right here. So this is going to be PHP, and I want to throw in some CURL configuration right here. So we're going to actually go through it. If you take a look here, you see that I'm just basically initializing my call right here. And here we're just checking if the call isn't actually initialized, we can just create a dive function and then tell them that fail to initialize the CURL. And here we have the session, the configurations. Okay, so these are the configurations, and we're going to just basically make a GET request right here. Okay, so that's just basically what that is. Then down here we're just basically turning off mandatory SSL, and here we're just doing we're executing the call right there, and here we're just checking for the responses. Okay, so if the responses are not actually coming through, we can put the error in a variable and then try to display whatever the error is down here. And here we're just closing the session. So what I want to do right now is that this configuration are actually going to need some few things right here. So to do that, I'm going to just open up some spaces up here and then throw in some variables. And the first one I want to do right now is to just get the URL. Okay, yeah, so let's just say something like URL. I'm going to just do URL, and we'll go ahead and set that to. So all right, so we do have the URL copied to the clipboard. I want to paste that right here, and that just basically this right here. You just want to go to api.paystack.co/balance, and I want to terminate this line. And the next thing I want to do right now is to bring in the API key, because we're basically going to need the API key. And to do that, I'm going to just do, all right, so I do have the API key. I want to paste that right here. So we're creating a variable, and then we're pasting. So we do have the API key right here, and we're saving that into this variable. So you should basically use your own API key right here if you want to get the real balance from your own account. Okay, so that's just what that is. And then we want to represent these variables right here within our configuration. So the first one right here is about the URL. So we're going to copy and paste that right here. So I want to throw away these brackets, those quotes, okay, because we already have quotes right here. And the next one is actually going to be the API key. So on the API key right here, this is just basically going to be right there within this place where we'll have BRR token. Okay, so I want to concatenate onto that variable that is basically called API key right there. Okay, I want to separate this line so that it should be easy for me to read. So that's just how that is actually looking so far, and I think that that's just basically all we need right now. We can save the changes, but then before we want to test to actually see whatever that is actually coming back to us from that of the Paystack. So I want to copy this, and I want to put that in. Let me just go ahead and echo. This is going to be PRE, and we can concatenate onto the variable we just copied, then concatenate onto to the pre tag right there. Okay, so let's put this in quotes, guys. This must be in quotes, just like that. So we'll save the changes and we can go ahead and try this out. So if we go to our browser right now, and let's go ahead and we want to close this out, and then within this, I want to just copy this and paste that right here. Okay, so I want to change this right here to the folder we just created, which is actually called a paystack underscore balance, and we can open that up. All right, so if you take a look here, we have an error that says failed to connect to API, and this is just basically timeout. Okay, so this should be coming from the internet connection. So I want to just check my internet connection to be sure that that's already active. Let me just change that. All right, so I've just refreshed my internet. Let's go ahead and try again. And then you see that we kind of get a result. Okay, so it says status right here, and it's setting that to true. Sorry about this. So the status is actually set to true, and we'll have a message that says balance retrieved, and under data we'll have an array of currents right there, and then the balance, which is right here. Okay, so that's just basically how you can actually successfully get your balance from that of your pay stack. Okay, so pretty simple, right? So that is just basically how that is. Okay, so, however, we are not going to actually leave this thing the way that it is right now. I think we are going to just basically add little tiny bit of a CSS to make it look a little bit beautiful, just like the one I presented right here. Okay, so to do that, we can go to our development environment, and what we basically want to do is to just add some CSS down here. All right, guys, so I do have the HTML copied to the clipboard right now, and all I want to do right here, just go ahead and paste it, and then it also comes with the HTML anyway, which we're basically actually going to go through all of them. Okay, so what we have right here, I want to take away the CSS first of all. So if I take this away, right now, I want you guys to just take a look at from here, okay, down to this place. That's just basically the HTML. Okay, so you can pause the video and then do that. Okay, I mean type the stuff out. Okay, and do not pay attention to this. First of all, we're going to do something about this because I know that this variable doesn't actually exist right now, but we're going to do justice to that. Okay, so but however, I want to paste in the CSS. I want to bring the CSS back. Okay, so taking a look at the CSS, we're just styling the body right here, and after that we have a class we call the balance dot dash box right there, and we'll start that the way that we are seeing it right there, and then we start the title, and after that we start the amount right here, and finally this is for the error messages. And I believe that this is cool, right? So you can just pause the video and then type them out. It's not really much. Okay, so now we want to move up to this section right here, okay, where we are kind of typing the PHP script, and then we want to do quite a few things here. Okay, and what we want to do right now is that in order for us to be able to access whatever balance that is actually coming back for us from that of the paystack, there is a couple of things we can actually do. When this kind of execute in the first place, what comes back in form of an array. Okay, but I want to convert that to something like a JSON, and to do that, what we basically want to do is actually going to be simple. So we do it down here, or maybe we can even do it maybe after this if statement that we have it here. So let's do that down here, and I'm going to just create a variable that I'm just basically going to call balance. So let's call that something like balance, and I want to set that to be equal to, basically it's going to be set to be equal to this. Okay, but then we want to wrap a function around it to be able to convert it into something like a JSON object. Okay, so to do that, the function is actually called the code, a JSON underscore the code. So we're going to just do it JSON underscore the code, and we can go ahead and then pass in that variable we just copied, which is the response right here, and that just contains all of the things that we need. Okay, so if we do that, make sure we type balance correctly, guys. So this is balance. Okay, so we have this on this right now, so we can actually grab or access whatever is actually coming back for us in form of a JSON object. Okay, so we can actually use arrows now to access them. All right, so that's just that on that line. So I want to use if statement to actually check for this balance right here, and from there we can actually work out our balance, okay, in the right format. So I'm going to copy and paste something right here. Now what I'm basically doing here is that I'm just saying if balance, and I think we need to throw in our last this thing right here. So we're just basically saying if balance, and balance status right here is actually set to true, which if we go back to the browser, and you see that the status right here is actually set to true. Okay, so if we are able to grab onto that and then it's actually set to true, what do we basically want to do? We want to go ahead and then create a variable that we're going to basically call the formatted balance, which we have already even pasted in our HTML down here. Okay, so look at it right here. Okay, So, but however, what we're just basically trying to do with that line is we're going to basically format the balance right here. The balance of that of the, what is it called, that of the Paystack comes in such a way that it comes in Kobo. So we're doing it right now. We're picking, if we pick the balance right here, we'll go into the data array, and then it's in position 0 right there. If we check it very well, if we pick the balance, we want to go ahead and divide it by 100, because every balance that comes back from that of the Paystack comes back in Kobo. Okay, so you want to divide that. Okay, you want to divide it by 100 to be able to get the real amount. Okay, so that's what we did right here. Then after that, we have a second parameter right here, which simply converts to 2 decimal places. Okay, so after that, we want to just convert it to 2 decimal places. So it's going to be dot something like that. Okay, so that's just basically what that is for us right now. Okay, so and I hope that you guys kind of understand that. So this number format will help us do that. Okay, so this is just how we're formatting that. And if you're confused about this 0 that we put in here, if you take a look at the browser again, you see that if you check this, we have data right here. Okay, so if we have this data right here, you see that we have a square bracket in here. Okay, so which is just basically one array, even though the array contains 2 elements in here. So this particular first array right here is in position 0 to this is the name of the array right here, data. Okay, so that particular data contains these things that we have in here. Okay, so that's why I'm saying 0 right here. And then after I say 0, you can actually go ahead and either mention the currency or you can mention the balance. Okay, but we are not mentioning the currency. We can just tap out the currency just the way that it is. Okay, but what we are actually looking for is basically this. Okay, we're looking for the balance to the balance that we have within that of the Paystack. Okay, so that's just basically why we mentioned the balance right there. Okay, so with that, we've actually gotten the balance right here. And the next thing we want to do right now is that let me add an else part right here. Maybe we're just going to go ahead and equal this. We're going to just create a class of error message and then failed to fetch balance. Okay, Paystack balance. Okay, so if we could not actually meet, I want to take away one closing bracket right here. Okay, so if we could not actually get this from the Paystack, if we could not actually fetch the balance, we want to go ahead and then print this message out for our customers to actually use. Okay, so that is just that, guys. So we can let's go ahead and then if we save the changes, we can go ahead and then refresh our web page right here. So I'm gonna refresh and then see whether we're gonna actually get that. And you see that we get almost the same thing that we had earlier. Okay, so this is being pushed over to this side because we have not really commented out this line. So let's comment out right here. So we want to comment out this line right here and save the changes, and you see that if we refresh right here, it comes back to the middle of the page. Okay, so that's just basically how that is. So simple to actually fetch your balance from that of the Paystack. And I think another thing I promised was that we're actually going to switch to live mode, right? So let's try to switch to live mode. I want to close out the first one right here, and let's focus our attention on only this. So to switch to live mode right now, we can go to our browser, and then from here we can just toggle this, and then now we are on live mode. And if we have that on live mode right now, I think if we refresh, we should basically, okay, we are still using the API key to that of the test mode. Okay, so to correct that, we need to, let's go back to our Paystack first of all. So on our Paystack page, we want to go to where it says settings, and then go to this section right here, and you want to click on where it says review right here, then enter your password. Of course, you are not going to actually see my password, and if you put your password correctly, it's going to review this particular key that we'll have in here. It's going to reveal that to you. Okay, so I'm going to do my own right now, then come back and show you guys. All right, guys, so I have that copied into the clipboard. I've actually done that, so I just came back from here right now, so you wouldn't actually see my own right now anymore because I'm done with what I want to do. Okay, but if you click on the home page, you see that the balance now is actually 0. Okay, so I do not actually have any money right now. The API key right here. Okay, so I'm going to paste my API key, but then I'm going to actually blur it out so that you guys can't actually get hold of that. Okay, so let's save the changes if we get that, and then if we go back to our browser and then we want to refresh right here. If you take a look in here, you see that we now have a 0 on this particular page. Okay, so I made a 0 balance this particular month right here. Okay, and I basically do not know actually why the guy want me to actually do this kind of video. Okay, I normally don't do this type of video, but maybe it's actually going to help him in one of his projects. So that is just what it is. Okay, so there is also a way you can actually within your coding environment, you can choose which month you want to check your balance on, or if you want to actually select your balances from all time, okay, so you can also do that within the programming area, okay. But this is just like the basis of how you can actually connect to that of the Paystack's balance endpoint and then do whatever you want to do. And I hope that you guys are actually going to find this helpful. So you should feel free to actually use it as like a stepping stone to knowing how to use that of the Paystack's balance endpoint and do whatever you want to do. That is a ton of things that you can actually do on that particular place, okay. So thanks for watching, guys, and if you like the video, just give the video a thumbs up, and then I think I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.